Guess it helped if I turned my mic up, huh? Well, there you go. Look at that silliness. Look at that silly nonsense. So, I don't know if Jody Grace forgot about me or what, because she was supposed to call me at 10 till 6, and I haven't heard anything yet. So, I don't know if I. She doesn't respond normally very quickly to her messages, so I guess I'll send her a message. Maybe she forgot. There we go. Yep, I even got the right date. Sorry about this, folks. This isn't something I planned on. Good evening, Patrick. How are you this evening, sir? Yeah, unfortunately, I don't know what's going on. I try to do a show every week, but it's kind of hard when your guest maybe forgot about you and isn't going to come on, and I have nothing as far as backup prepared for tonight. So, yeah, I don't know. It's not it's not looking promising right now. Let's see. Oh, well, Patrick, if you want, go ahead and we'll give Jody a few minutes to respond, and if she does not, yeah, Patrick, if you want to call, I'll patch you through, and it'll just be me and you tonight, buddy. Sounds like a plan. And Catherine's I got all kinds of people wanting to stand in, but we'll figure something out. We'll give her a couple minutes, and then I'm glad Catherine jumped in. I have to remind everyone to come to Troy, Missouri on Sunday from 2 to 4 for Catherine's campaign event. Got to get that done. I'm looking forward to that, Catherine. Again, I changed up my speech a little bit, added a little bit of content, changed it up. Nothing drastic, but I still changed it up. And I'm looking forward to Sunday. Should be a good time. Me and my wife will be there, and can't wait. Should be awesome. Okay, well, Patrick says he'll defer to you, Catherine, so we'll wait till 20 till 7, okay? And at 20 till 7, if I don't hear from Jody, then Catherine, do you still have my phone number? If you do, just give me a call at 20 till 7, unless I say otherwise. And we'll just have you come on, and we'll talk about your campaign and how things are going and your event Sunday and all that. I took a very short nap beforehand, and I have not quite woken up, so it'll all be good. All right, Catherine's got my number. Cool. So, we'll just hang out for a few minutes, give Jody some time to respond. She probably forgot, and I'm going to take a little bit of blame on this because I'm normally very good about Wednesday evening contacting my guests to verify that we're still on for, that coming Fridays, the following Fridays, interview. And I neglected to do that this week, so that's kind of bad. That's kind of my bad because I forgot to make sure she was still able to do it tonight, and I screwed that up. So, again, kind of my fault. I'll just have to change the title of the YouTube video because right now it says Jody Grace, and that's not who it's going to be. It's going to be our friend Catherine Dreher. So that's cool. I'm glad that I guess I'm liked enough that people are willing to to slide in and do a emergency fill-in job. I appreciate that very much. I guess it could be worse. I could have nobody, absolutely no one watching me, and like nobody's like, I don't want to go in with that dude. If my life depended on it, I'll just die. So I appreciate all of you who join me every week and are willing to fill in. That's even better. I bet you there's some podcasters that can't even brag that they can do that. That they have people just willing to jump in and fill a vacant spot. I am quite lucky indeed. That's the way I'm going to say it. I am quite lucky in that I have some loyal viewers and listeners that can help me out in my time of need. So that's it's pretty awesome. I like that a lot. You all are, again, I say it every week, but you guys are awesome. I mean, you guys are really great. This is the best. This is the best situation my podcast has ever been in. Any show that I've done, this is absolutely the best it's ever been. Yeah, Jonathan, I need to get you on at some point. But this is the best that this thing's ever done. And I have to truly say that because of a few of the candidates that I've interviewed, and Patrick and Casey and Ganai and Voodoo Queen, Jonathan, Ashley, you know, you guys have made this, you guys have really helped me get this thing going. And I can't thank everybody enough who has spread the word, helps me get a little bit of, puts my name out there for others to find. I really, really appreciate it. And I have to say, folks, seeing some interesting things as far as podcast downloads, Kansas, Tennessee, and Arkansas, those numbers in those three states are starting to shoot up. So that tells me that there are people, on our bordering states wanting to know what's going on in the great state of Missouri here. Maybe we'll get some more freedom lovers moving this way. Just waiting to see if I've gotten a response from nothing from Jody yet. So we'll give it another minute or so, and we'll just have Catherine join us, and we'll go from there. Yeah, Catherine and I had a great conversation last time. I know a lot of you were here for that. So, and I hope some of the people that hear this either tonight or tomorrow can make Catherine's campaign event. I know it's short notice. I can't expect everybody to drop what they're doing. But I really hope people can come to hear Catherine's message and support her campaign on Saturday. Should be awesome. And, I have to say that I told Patrick the other night that my mission is to now try to to push as many people as I can towards what Patrick and his group are doing here in the state of Missouri, just to get people to volunteer, to make phone calls, write emails on important legislation in the coming sessions. That's my mission now. I mean, I want to get some more great guests on here, but I really, really want to help Robert and everybody else, Patrick's group. I always want to get Patrick and Robert mixed up, and it makes no sense because their names don't sound anything alike. There's a couple of common letters, and that's it. But yeah, I really want to see this. Did I say Saturday? Yeah, I'm an idiot. Sunday. Catherine's campaign event on Sunday. Told you. Useless. I'll tell you what, Catherine, if you want to go, hey, Caleb, how's it going? If you want to go ahead and give me a ringy-dingy, I'll get you patched through, and we'll start the show, and we'll start recording if you're willing to jump in. Again, sorry about this. It's kind of my bad that I didn't, confirm our interview or my interview with Jody. I do that every single time, and I fudged that up this week, and so I guess she. Oh, and there's Catherine.
Dreher.
Catherine, how's it going? Hold on, let me get you in the right thing. There we go.
Okay.
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Good, 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 good.
Yeah, I'm excited to see you Sunday.
I am so ready. So ready.
Yeah.
I'm more ready for this one than Robert's. Robert, now don't get me wrong, once I get there, my stomach will churn and I will be nervous as hell. But
Right.
the whole lead up time to Roberts, I was just every time I thought about, oh, you're going to get up in front of a bunch of people you don't know and talk, my body was like, we're going to do some weird stuff to you, and then you're going to regret that decision. So
Right.
anyway,
But that didn't happen.
no, it didn't.
No, you did great.
I told my wife I didn't puke or pass out, and so that gives me a passing grade on that whole thing. All right.
Well, we can't ask for more than that.
That's right. So I'm gonna bring your volume down, Catherine, and then I'll start the recording, and we'll go live.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, folks. Here we go. Every week I get the wrong. Okay, that's the right one. Every week I forget the button which song I want. So let's begin recording. Hey, Warrior Class 3, good to see you in here as well. Let's start the recording, and instead of what you see in the I just wanted to make sure that wasn't my luck. That'd be Jody going, oh, I forgot. So not Jody Grace tonight, everybody that just joined in. It's Catherine Dreher. Let me start the recording. All right, folks, and we're back with another edition of the Missouri Liberty Report. Now, I told you all last week that I would have Jody Grace on, and I kind of made a tactical error, and I didn't send her a confirmation message asking if we were still on. So I'm going to take part of the blame because I am very good about doing that, and this week I screwed the pooch. So Catherine Dreher is here with us. And she jumped in on the live stream right off the bat, and Patrick and her both volunteered to take her place. And Patrick deferred to Catherine ever so kindly. And so, Catherine, how are we doing this evening?
Hey, I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing good. And just like that, Jody just responded and said, "Oh my God,
okay.
I can." Well, so what I'm going to let me send her a quick message. And tell her that we'll reschedule because I've got you on here now, and I don't want to play musical chairs anymore.
Okay.
Let me send this to her. I knew that was going to happen as soon as we started.
Right.
Okay. So anyway, Catherine, I guess to start off things, for those of maybe who didn't hear my last interview with you, give us again a little bit of your background, and then we'll go into how things are going in the campaign and so on and so forth.
Yeah, sure, yeah. Well, I am running as the Libertarian candidate for State Senate District 10. It's newly redistricted, so it is now Lincoln County, which is where I live, Pike County, Montgomery County, Callaway County, and a portion of St. Charles County, which is Wentzville, Forestdale, and Flint Hill. It's a very unique district. So a little of my background, I guess some people would call me, I was a Ron Paul Republican. I worked within the Republican Party for a long time, calling myself a libertarian-leaning Republican. And a little over a year ago decided it was time to call a spade and drop the Republican part and just be a libertarian like I truly am. So a little bit of my, I guess, personal background. Like I said, we live out in unincorporated Lincoln County, where I'm pretty sure it's a requirement that everybody has their own gun range and has chickens. So we do that ourselves. And I have three children that I've homeschooled since the day they were born. One's a senior in college. One is a senior in high school, and the other one is in 7th grade. So yes, homeschool does work. You can do it successfully, and they can go off to college and do well. My political background, like I said, I've been involved in politics, gosh, probably for about 11 years. It was really Ron Paul that opened my eyes. I think I told you before, I phone banked for John McCain in 2008, and it was sometime between 2008 and 2012 that I picked up a copy of Ron Paul's The Revolution, a Manifesto, and that's really what turned things around for me. So I was a delegate for Ron Paul at our state convention in 2012. This is when I lived in St. Charles County. I should back up. I lived in St. Charles County for 12 years and was part of a small group of people that we worked to get red light cameras banned in St. Charles County. I was on the Board of Zoning Adjustment for the county, so I enjoyed granting a lot of variance requests that I probably wasn't allowed, the bureaucrats didn't want me to, but we can get into that later. I stand for limited government, individual liberty, and self-ownership. So, that kind of runs the gamut of a lot of topics. Out in Lincoln County, moved out here, it'll be 5 years ago this December. I helped form the Lincoln County Libertarian Party out here just over a year ago, got us up and running. And after I moved out here, worked on Mike Wood's campaign for prosecuting attorney. So I have a lot of experience working other people's campaigns and issues, but primarily at the local level. My focus has always been very much at protecting liberty at the local level. So I was approached by Jeff Coleman with the Missouri Libertarian Party that they were looking for somebody to run in state Senate District 10 because there was no duopoly in that race. At the time, there were 6 Republicans running. So we saw this as an opportunity to get a libertarian on the ballot. And so I talked to my husband and I filed to run. And I am the type of person that if I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. I'm not half-assing it. So I am a full-fledged candidate running a full-on campaign with as much time and resources as I have. So I guess that's the long story of who I am.
It's all good. It's all good. So I guess how are things going, Catherine? I mean, as far as your campaign, have you been able to get out and talk to a lot of people, and have you gotten some good responses? What's been happening with the campaign?
Sure. Well, right now it's really just been a lot of networking with trying to get other volunteers on board, talking to some PACs that are liberty-minded, because of course, unfortunately, it does require quite a bit of money to run an effective campaign. So I've been focusing a lot on fundraising right now. Starting in early September, I will be hitting the doors. That's when I plan on door knocking, and I will be door knocking as much as I can. And I have a group of volunteers all the way up until the general election. So as far as, the door knocking part, that hasn't happened yet. To be honest, I finally got the finances I need to purchase the canvassing app that would be the most effective for my door knocking. So we're going to start that up in September. So I feel like it's going well. I'm starting to get some good traction. And again, just doing some of that networking, making some of those inroads toward victory. And also, putting out a whole lot of it's truth, but it just looks bad for my opponent, just starting to dig into some of his MEC reports and his voting record, and just trying to start getting that out to the voters as well. So
yeah,
I feel like we're in a good position right now to really start launching, hard and heavy early September. Yeah.
Good, good. Glad to hear it.
Yeah.
Again, I hate saying this, but it is true. It's the fact that you're running as a libertarian, so you have to work extra hard. It
Yes.
shouldn't be that way. When you answer questions, you're and you're a actual libertarian,
Right.
and not a fake one, or
Right.
a halfway libertarian. When you're a real libertarian, it sucks that you have to explain yourself to people. Like, why do you feel this way? Like, what do you mean? Why do I feel this way? This is the way everyone should feel. Why am I having to? You should explain to me why you think this is a good idea, and I have to tell you why it's a bad idea. I know
Right.
I know that's got to be frustrating, but I know talking to Robert and some others who have run either as an actual libertarian or as a libertarian running in the Republican Party, it seems like people really take him to task sometimes. It's like, this is the most backwards thing I've ever seen in my life, where the liberty-minded folk the actual liberty-minded person has to explain themselves to someone that loves America and freedom and mom and apple pie. And it's like, listen, pal,
Right.
so I know that you've got a little tougher, row to hoe than the normal Republican or Democrat, because everybody knows a Republican and a Democrat, but you have to. So, have you run into this yet? Have you run into something where
Oh,
I mean, give us some examples of what you've seen.
yeah. I refer to it, running as a libertarian is like walking a tightrope. It really is. That's just been my experience, because especially after having been a Republican for a long time and have made a lot of connections within the Republican Party locally that could help me if I was a Republican. That now they're some of them are standoffish, but some of them aren't. Some of them want to support me and back me, but aren't sure how to come out and do that without losing their own Republican support, if that makes sense. And so, as far as it being like a tightrope, liberty, when it's explained correctly, appeals to everybody in one form or another. So there are portions or principles that I have that would appeal to the left. But if I lean too far left, I'm going to lose part of the right. And then there's portions of my principles that appeal to the right. But if I go too far right, I'm going to lose some of the left. And so that's kind of where I'm at right now. I don't waver on my principles at all. It's just how to strategically get that message out, to the people that are on either side of that tightrope there that might come in and be like, yeah, I agree with what you have to say. So that's what I'm finding interesting as I'm starting to network and talk to, people that might get behind me, that have maybe bigger names than me, and trying to work that. That's what I'm finding. That's what I tend to run into. Kind of this, I don't know, you're a libertarian now. Well, I'm the same person you knew back when you supported me, 5 years ago when I was a Republican. But
Yeah, you just changed the letter behind your name. That's literally all you did, was change the letter
right,
behind your name.
right. And mhm.
That I don't know. I know that when I talk to people from the time of I guess you'd say my awakening until the current day,
Right.
when I talk to certain people about things, they think that maybe I'm. Well, I'll give you an example. So one of the libertarian pages that I follow on Facebook, somebody posted something, and it's something kind of ridiculous, and I said, well, this kind of thing here is why I only donated to the party one time, and haven't continued to, because you guys look like the way you're talking, you're leaning
Okay.
left.
Right.
You're leaning left, and then you're just a Republican, and I was like, no. And so I got into this, which it was stupid, but this guy wanted to debate me, and he kept making comments. But here's where it went weird. He brought up Jordan Peterson and called him what he was anti-feminism. He was this. He was
Right.
And I'm like, Jordan Peterson? You think this guy is an alt-right wing kooky? And I'm thinking, and I just literally said, have you ever listened to him speak? Like, have you ever listened to a thing that man has said? Clearly you have not. And I found myself trying to explain this, and I'm like, wait a minute. I'm talking to a supposed libertarian. Now, that doesn't mean he has to like Jordan Peterson. It's just the names that he called him, I'm like, you haven't listened to a word that man said. And I'm thinking, I said, well, you and then I kind of threw the same shot back. I said, well, you seem like you're a lefty. Who said I'm a leftist? And got all defensive. I'm like, I'm just playing the same game you just played with me. It was,
Right.
And again, I know we've discussed this. It seems like sometimes, and not the party as a whole, but you can say this about any party. The problem is some libertarians are their own worst enemies, and there's a lot of infighting, and it really hurts people like yourself and Robert and others who just are like, hey, I literally want to win my election and then do my ultimate best at leaving you alone. That's literally all I want. I want to take over the world so I can leave you alone. And why do we have to fight about these things that don't, in the grand scheme of things, don't really matter? And it seems like it is detrimental. I'm hoping with the Mises Caucus takeover that some of that goes away. And I'm hoping that some of the state parties start doing a better job, which I have been seeing some of the state parties doing a better job of getting their candidates out there and actually spending some money to say, hey, look, we've got people in this party that are smart.
Yes.
That, we know are good people. They're actual libertarians. They're not playing a game just to get their name on the ballot. They actually mean what they say. So I'm hoping that the party really steps up and does its job, because there are a lot of libertarian candidates that I've seen that I really liked. My problem isn't with the candidates, it's with the party as a whole at times, some of the things they've done. But I'm hoping that is reversing itself, because let's face it, being a libertarian or any third party candidate, you guys need all the help you can get from your party and outside your party if we're going to be serious about getting more liberty lovers involved. Then the party has to take it seriously and really help out their candidates. So I guess my question is,
okay,
are you getting some good help from the Missouri Libertarian Party? Are they backing you up pretty well?
Yes, they are. And a lot of that is thanks to Robert. A lot of it's thanks to Jeff Coleman, who's out in St. Louis. And they have really started going to bat. So our state party actually gave me a donation. I know they gave Robert a donation, and our state auditor a donation. And those are the only three that they gave out. So they are starting to recognize that, hey, look, you've got some candidates out here that are actually campaigning, working to win, that have a good chance of winning. People may scoff and laugh at that, but when I look at my district and I look at my opponent, I've crunched the numbers on what the directions that the way the political winds blow in which part of my district and such, and I feel like I have a good chance of winning. I feel like Robert has a good chance of winning. So yes, but it has taken some pushing and persuading on our part on getting them to start being more engaged and more involved. And you're absolutely right. In fact, that was something I was actually talking. My husband and I were talking about this. I just, he's my sounding board a lot of times. So, not only do I need to, get people on board with just me, as a candidate and my principles, I think there is more dislike of my opponent than maybe he even realizes. But just some things that are, as some of us are digging into his record, that once it comes out, I don't think people are going to be too thrilled about. But then also just getting people over that hump of voting for a third party candidate. And so that's also part of what I have to do when I'm campaigning, is helping people understand that the only wasted vote is a vote if you are not voting on principle. So if you have me and you have my opponent and I'm more aligned with your principle, but you are somehow turned away because there's an L next to my name versus an R, and you vote for my opponent because of that, then you're throwing away your vote. Or that's that whole, well, they're probably not going to win, even though her principles align more with mine, so I'm going to vote for the other candidate. Well, all you're doing is helping me not win. It's such backward thinking. So just trying to change that whole mindset. Now, there are still, I'm not going to name names, but we do still have candidates in the Libertarian Party that put their name down, and that's all they do. And we need to stop doing that just as a party. And so I don't think I was the vice chair last time I interviewed with you, but I am now the vice chair of our state party. And part of my role is public relations. And that is what I want to really start doing, is rebranding our party so that, and like you said, the Libertarian Party has done some of its own damage to itself. So it's undoing that, making people realize, they are a party of common sense. A lot of what they say, I do agree with. And hey, they have candidates out there that don't just talk the talk, they're walking the walk. So that, you're exactly right. That is part of the uphill climb I have, is just as a third party candidate, getting people to understand, look, if you share my principles, then you need to vote for me, regardless of what letter is after my name.
Yeah, I think, I mean, historically it's been the case, but I guess because I've been interviewing more candidates lately and keeping an eye on things a little better and being more thorough, I do see it really started after I interviewed Rick Combs when he ran for governor. And because of what's her face that was running against Parson, people were voting out of emotion and not logic. And
that's usually the case.
Yeah. And I know that's what you're talking about. And it's like, it does get frustrating because you're like, okay, so I had you all the way up until you walked into the voting booth, and then suddenly emotion took over, and you're like, oh, what if the other person wins? Like, okay, so yes, she could have done some executive orders, but by herself, she's powerless. What?
Right.
So just vote for Rick. Like, just vote for Rick. Why are you being such a pansy? Just stop being, this is going to sound sexist, stop being such a little schoolgirl and just vote your conscience. For the love of God, just vote your conscience. Okay, enough of that before I get rambling and rolling. So we've got a first question. I got a couple questions here.
Okay, good. I'm on the internet, so I can look things up.
Well, this one, they want to know what your thoughts are on Amendment 3, which is the marijuana legalization.
Yes. Okay, yeah, I'm glad they brought that up. I'm opposed to Amendment 3, and in fact, I have Ethan Thampey, who is one of my guest speakers Sunday. I'm so excited that he's going to be speaking, because he will be speaking about Amendment 3 and why it is a bad amendment. First of all, the fact that it is an amendment should throw up a red flag, because if an amendment is passed and it's not a good one, it's very difficult to repeal it or undo. It's not like a bill or a law that the House or Senate or the governor has passed. So first of all, there's that. Anytime there's an amendment on the ballot, everybody should start doing their homework. Don't just read the ballot language, dig into it. But so I don't even know where to begin with that one. First of all, it sets up monopolies. those who already have a license to dispense medical marijuana, they get first dibs on dispensing recreational marijuana. And there is a cap. So it's going to set up monopolies. So, think people that have been looking forward to marijuana being legalized, that have been saving up their money in hopes of going into this business, they're not going to be able to do so. So there's that. Plus, it puts you can still, people think, oh, well, I just can go around and smoke pot now. No, you can be arrested if you're smoking it out in public. I need to have it in front of me right now to know exactly all the language, but there's only a certain amount that you can have on you. And if you have over that amount, you can be fined or tossed in jail. People, you can't just grow it in your home with this amendment. I mean, it just places a lot of legality around it that I feel like, as a true libertarian, any true libertarian should not be behind this amendment. I believe it was, now I can't think of his name, but we did have a state House representative who was working on a House bill.
Yeah, Representative Hicks.
Hicks, yes, thank you, to legalize marijuana. And it was starting out to be a fairly decent bill. Of course, didn't get out of the House at the time. And I think they were putting some amendments on it that he didn't like. But I feel like, and you and I talked about, with SEPA, that, it took us 8 years to get that through. But once it was through, it was done well. And so I feel like in this instance, when it comes to legalizing recreational marijuana, let's do it right. Let's not mess this up the first time, and now we're stuck with something that, in actuality, is not a free market system, blocks the free market, still makes it illegal, puts a lot of legal ramifications around it. Anyway, that's just off the top of my head. I don't have the actual language right in front of me. So that's the long version of where I stand on Amendment 3. I am opposed to it. I am in favor of legalizing recreational marijuana. Let me make that clear. I just do not believe that Amendment 3 is the best way to do so.
Yeah. Okay. So just, I know people are probably going to get sick of hearing me talking about Amendment 3, but I'm going to beat this like a dead horse until November. So just everybody be aware, I'm going to bring this up a lot. After Epan and I's conversation last week, some of the main differences between this amendment and Representative Hicks's bill, Representative Hicks's bill would have removed the label drug from marijuana, would have removed it from the drug schedule. So in this amendment, it doesn't remove it from the drug schedule.
Right.
There is no automatic expungement, even though they say if you're a felon and you're in jail, you're going to serve out the rest of your sentences. Then the whole lottery thing where he was talking about, I think, Connecticut, where they had 23,000, entries, but there were dispensaries spilling out 1,000 at a time. So that, that muddied the waters.
Right.
And then the micro licenses were, and again, they're not saying, well, if you make below a certain income, you can't even apply for a license. Now, if you're going to sit here and tell people this will help the poorer communities, well, how are you going to help a poor community if the people are poor and they can't get a license? Explain that to me.
Right.
Hello, Dick Tracy.
Exactly.
Where'd you park the squad car, you jackass? Why?
Yeah.
So,
but it also doesn't end the war on drugs. We're still calling it a drug, and it's still illegal to a certain degree. So it doesn't do anything to end the war on drugs, which is also another libertarian principle.
Yeah, because that's what I did a short video last night, about a half hour or so, and that's what I was telling people. If it is not removed from the schedule, you cannot say you're legalizing it if you don't remove it from the drug schedule. That's stupid. That doesn't even make you can't. And that's the thing. It's so you have to split your brain down the middle in order to fall for this. But if you go to their site, it's not laid out. You're going to have to actually look up the initiative, which is 39 pages long,
Yeah.
and read it all. Now, here's the interesting thing. I am actually shocked that Governor Parson came out and kind of badmouthed the bill, the amendment, and said he felt
Right.
like it was a trap. I almost fell out of my chair. I'm like, Governor Parson said that? Oh, what?
I didn't see that.
Yeah, he did. He actually came out few days ago and
Hmm.
said, it looks like to me a bunch of attorneys wrote this and people might think it's good, but it's going to end up being a trap. And I was like,
Right.
wow.
Interesting.
Like, I have to actually go up and pat, Governor Parsons on the back. I don't know how to feel about that. Okay, so Patrick's got a couple of questions. He's first one is, are you campaigning in social media?
Oh, yes, very much so. I do have a social media. Sorry, I have a Facebook account. It's essentially Catherine Dreher, State Senate, District 10. Yeah, I mean, if you do a Facebook search, you'll find me. I post on there often. I share it with as many other groups as I can. I'm on Twitter. I try to post on Twitter every day. I'm on Instagram. I recently joined TikTok because the libertarian demographic is a younger demographic. And I don't know what I'm doing on TikTok, but I must have done something really well because my first video got removed for extremism.
I saw the video. I think you posted it to Facebook too.
I did. I saved, so far I saved the videos I make on TikTok, and so I can then repost them in other places. So
Yeah.
yes, I reposted it on Facebook so everybody could see, oh, this is what they took down. And it was just like Ron Paul during the 2012 debates and Chris Wallace saying, so you would remove you'd get rid of the FBI and the IRS and Homeland Security, and you can hear people laughing in the background and Ron Paul's clapping, and then it cuts away to like me clapping to him.
Yeah.
And it's like, who's laughing now? Now that we have armed IRS agents and, everybody's worried about the FBI. It's like, yeah. But no, that got taken down. I mean, it got up to over 100,000 views and was up for like 3 days before they took it down. So,
Wow, your first video hit 100,000 views?
yes, my very first ever video. And I'm up to now like almost 1,000 followers.
Holy crap, that's pretty good.
Yeah. So that's why I said I must be doing something right. I pissed off TikTok and I'm gaining some followers. So
Okay, so here's another question, which I saw I think you posted this, but Patrick's asking, have you offered to debate your opponent?
oh yes, but he has flat out, from what I've heard, and I have this on a good source, has said that he will not debate me because, quote unquote, he sees no reason for it. So he has no plans to debate me. So we'll wait and see. Hopefully there'll be some calls for debate. And if he doesn't show up, then good. But I would totally debate him. I mean, I'm looking forward to it. Bring it. But no, he doesn't. He just has already claimed his victory in the state Senate and
Wow.
doesn't see any. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So
Oh,
So I
boy.
decided, well, I'll just have fun exposing you and your record all on my own then, I guess. So
That would just make it even more sweeter if you beat him just because he's so smug right now and he acts like he's got it in the bank. And then you spank him a good
Right.
one and he's like, huh, guess I should
Yeah.
rethink my whole stance on this thing. Like, yeah, you think so, Jack Wagon? Should have rethought
Right.
that. Oh, I got this one in the back. That's what makes those victories sweeter when these
Yeah.
the incumbents, are in there and they're just like, oh, ain't nobody gonna take me down. I don't even have to try. And then they lose and they're like, wait, what happened? Everybody around them's like, hey, it's because you
Right.
fell asleep at the wheel, you dingus. You gotta keep going. You just
Right.
you acted like, oh, nobody can take it. That kind of
Mhm.
mentality in politicians is absolutely infuriating. But another question for you. What are your
Okay.
thoughts about the gold and silver bill that they're working on for the state of Missouri?
Oh, yeah. I'm in favor of that. The Missouri Inflation Protection Act. Yeah, I'm in favor of that. In fact, 10 years ago, Paul Kurtman tried to get a similar bill passed in the House. It was called the Sound Money Bill, and a group, again, we were called the St. Charles County Liberty Project. We did our best to help him. We held a forum on economic prosperity, and we invited a lot of members of the state legislature to it. I can't think. Tim Jones was our MC. We had Tom Woods came out and spoke. Of course, Paul Kurtman spoke. John Bruner spoke. Jim Lemke spoke, all in favor of sound money. Now, this was 10 years ago. Imagine if we had gotten this done 10 years ago. So this is when Paul Kurtman is one of my guest speakers. He's my keynote speaker on Sunday, and that is something he's going to be talking about as well. He is a financial advisor. That's his background. So he knows how much liberty is stolen from us just through our wallets, just, from via the economy. So yes, I'm very much in favor of making gold and silver legal tender in Missouri. I think that's the best way we're going to be able to protect ourselves from inflation.
Okay, so Casey, Rich has a question, and this is a good question. Going back to Amendment 3, it says, if Amendment 3 gets voted down in November, will legislators take that as a sign of people being against legislation and shut down future legislation? What's your opinion on that?
That's a good question. I don't know. I haven't talked to many to know. I mean, I know like Tony Lavasco, he won his race. I know he would support legalizing it. Okay, just my personal opinion. Like, I can't speak for anybody in the legislature or anybody who's just, going to be in the legislature. But I would think that they wouldn't see it that way, especially if we are doing our job of being vocal about those of us who oppose it, why we oppose it. It's not that we oppose legalizing recreational marijuana. We oppose the way this is being done. So I think because it was already taken up and just didn't get very far, I tend to lean toward being optimistic anyway, but I would like to think that that legislators wouldn't see that as, no, they don't want this. They just don't, I'm sorry. It's not that they would think we don't want to legalize recreational marijuana. We just don't want this. We don't want it this way. We want more freedom.
Okay. Well, Okay, so because basically, I mean, I know that the MIPA, the MIPA, that's the big one this year. But I would like to see someone else propose the legalization thing again. And Patrick's brought up a good point on this, because if we can work on getting the recreational side legalized. Mm-hmm. He has great interest in the hemp side of it, which I do too, because that could help out a lot of farmers in the state of Missouri if they decided they want to grow hemp.
I agree. Yep, I agree with Patrick there. So so elect me, and I'll bring it up again.
I mean,
I'm putting a call out to libertarians. I mean, imagine we get a libertarian in there, either Robert or me or both of us. We are going to be the ones that both sides of the aisle are going to be going to, because you don't know which way we're going to go. I mean, well, we know, but they may not know. Does that make sense? Like, what's the libertarian going to do?
Well, that's the thing I try to get across to people is that, the one thing about libertarians, some of them anyway, I can't say, I try not to paint with a broad brush, but a lot of libertarians, they will work with either side of the aisle if it's something that's going to bring people more freedom, whether it's, justice reform or more more fiscally conservative type things. They can work with both sides of the aisle and get things done. Right. And it's like, that's kind of what we need right now. We got to stop this, the fighting between the parties doesn't get a whole lot done sometimes. It would be nice to have a few people in there that they see a bill over here on maybe a Democrat side that have some kind of justice reform or something. You're like, hey, I'm on board with that. Or Republican says, hey, I'd like to eliminate the personal property tax. Well, Libertarian's going to jump on board with that one. So,
exactly. Yeah.
it is beneficial to have someone again. The thing right now is we have some Republicans who will cross the aisle and vote with Democrats on things they have no business voting yes on.
You're right. There's that. Yeah.
So we have a lot of rhinos, and nobody seems to have a problem with rhinos. So
I
why would you
know.
have a problem with someone who will work with both sides of the aisle if something's going to be a
Right.
positive step forward for the people in this state? So just food for thought, folks. I'm trying to
Yep.
think. So okay, well since we got you on here,
Okay.
let's talk a little bit about your campaign event on Sunday. Tell everybody about it. Give us the time and the place and all that, and what do you have going on Sunday the 28th?
Okay. Yeah. Hang on just a second. Let me get a drink. Okay. Yeah. So this Sunday, the 28th, it is called For Liberty, and it is going to be at Fairgrounds Hall in Troy, Missouri, and it will be from 2 to 4 p.m. It's a free event. There will be food and drinks provided. We are going to have a 50-50 raffle. We'll have some porcupine keychains that you can get with a minimum $2 donation. But the thing I'm most excited about is the lineup of speakers. And all of you fall into the three main principles that I run on, or my platform, so to speak, which are limited government, self-ownership, and individual liberty. So I have you coming out to speak. So I'm looking forward to hearing what you're going to say, since you told me you changed it up a bit. So I think that's going to be good. And then I have Ethan Fampe, who will be speaking about Amendment 3. I'm so thankful got him out, because that's something we really need to educate the public on. Because like you said, that initiative is like 30-something pages. Who's going to read through that? They're going to see the ballot language and think, oh, this is great. So he's coming out to speak. And again, that falls under all three, but especially self-ownership. And then Tom Martz with the Locke and Smith Foundation knows the Missouri Constitution inside and out, teaches about the Missouri Constitution. He will be talking about that. And then Paul Kurtman, he former state rep. He was a state rep for 8 years out of Washington, Missouri. So that was his district. And when he ran, it was a Democratic district. It was very Democratic. He had an uphill battle, and he knocked on like 30-something thousand doors. And one of the main things I've learned from him, just listening to him speak over the years, because I've known him for about 10 years, is always try to find something in common. You can always find common ground with somebody. So just trying to find that common ground and working with them. But he is going to be speaking about sound money and gold and silver, and I don't know what else. I always enjoy listening to him speak. He's a very dynamic speaker. So, my hope is, and obviously it's a fundraiser, even though it's a free event. Like I said, running a successful campaign, a good campaign, does require money in order to reach the voters. So it is a fundraiser. But what I'm really hoping is that hearing all of y'all is going to, like what Sam Adams once said, ignite the brush fires of liberty within the hearts of men, and just get people going. Yes, yes, we need to right the ship. We need to get us back on course, and Catherine Dreher is the one to vote for to do so.
Okay, I've got a question. Have you had have a lot of people shown interest in attending on Sunday?
Yeah, I'm anticipating 20 to 30 people. I've gotten probably as many people have told me, like, privately that they're going to be there than have RSVP'd on the Facebook page. So that's, if it's 20 to 30, I will be pleased. That's kind of what I'm anticipating.
Okay.
If it's more than that, that would be awesome. I'll be pleasantly surprised. But that's about what I'm expecting.
Okay, cool. I wasn't. I'm trying to mentally prepare. If you're like, oh, I'm expecting a few hundred people, be like, I'm gonna pass out. Um,
Yeah, no, I mean, if that happens, awesome.
yeah,
But
that would be
you know,
amazing.
there are people that say they'll come and then they don't come, and then there's people that you've never heard from and they show up. So you know,
I got
people just don't want to commit to things these days. Is what I've learned.
well, I got to ask a question because my wife asked me this, and is going to be indoors, correct? Inside a
Yes,
hall. Okay. Because
yeah,
she goes, "What are you going to wear?" And I go, "Kind of the same thing I wore to Robert." She's like, "Is it going to be indoors?" And I go, "I think it is." And
I
I
should
thought, "Oh
find
boy,
out.
I better ask because I'll wear black and be out there and just baking like this was the dumbest thing I could
Yeah,
have done." Okay, that's good to know.
no,
And I
it's
can.
indoors. There's no address for it because it's Lincoln County, so it's just called Fairgrounds Hall. Or yeah, Fairgrounds Hall, and you won't even find that if you searched for it on a map. So you have to search for Fairgrounds Circle. That's the road
Mm,
that it's on. So
okay.
that's why I sent you a picture. If you try to find Fairgrounds Hall, it's not going to come up.
I think it actually did when I looked it up
Oh, did it?
on.
Okay.
Let me verify that because I'm pretty sure that I looked that up on Google Maps and I was like, "Hey,
Okay.
there it is." But
Excellent.
again, it could be misleading me because
Okay.
well, okay, so it's
Great.
showing Lincoln County Fairgrounds
Yeah.
and well, it shows Amanda Lane. I
Okay.
don't and there's
It's
fair
off Highway 47. There'll be Fairgrounds Road.
Yep, it's showing right off Fairgrounds Road. And then there
Yeah.
is like a circle type drive there.
Yes, that's it. And so
Okay.
I'll have my signs out so people can then follow the signs to the building.
Awesome sauce cuz I it's like, my luck I'd be driving like this stupid GPS. I hate it.
Right.
Hate it.
Yep.
Let's see. I'm trying to think of another topic that could get into. Oh, so what are your thoughts on? We probably got into this last time, but I'm asking again. What do you think we need to do in a state of Missouri as far as education? What are your thoughts on education in the state of Missouri? I know that's a loaded question, right?
It is. Okay. Well, I've already said that I homeschool. So
Right.
that should kind of clue you in on where I stand. And I homeschool to keep the government out of my business, out of my school business. Um, I did see a big chunk of our new budget is going into education, into teacher salaries, into higher education. I'm like, hello? If you want to see your tuition get higher, let's just dump more money into higher education, okay? Quit subsidizing higher education. So okay. I, I'm trying to figure out where I'm going with this. Okay, so when it comes to school choice, because that's the big issue, the big
Mm-hmm.
topic right now, I'm in favor of school choice, but for homeschoolers, whatever comes out of that has to be good for homeschoolers. And I think a lot of legislators, even my opponent who homeschools, doesn't understand this. So, like right now, school choice is what they want to. They want to say when the money follows the child to the school of their choice, then families win. Now, apply that to homeschool. If the money follows the child to their home school, family's not going to win. Now I've got the government in my school, and I don't want that. So, yeah, so I mean, I'm definitely in favor to a point of school choice, but for homeschoolers, whatever happens needs to be an opt-in program, not something that we have to opt out of. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I know this is especially with libertarians. This is a hot topic type of issue.
Right.
I know some of them are like, it's a good compromise for now. If we could just, in some states, if we could just get school choice, that's a good starting point, and then we can perfect as we go on. And I kind of agree with that. You know, if you have a state that says, "Oh, if you live in this district, that's where you got to go to school," even though it could be a total turd district, that's where your kid's
Right.
stuck going to. If you can't for some reason homeschool your kids,
Right.
you may have to send them to your local public indoctrination center. So if you
Right.
if you at least give parents a choice to say, well, I want them to go to the next district over because they seem to be not so
Yes.
crazy.
Yes.
But I do take to your point that, you know, the homeschooling people doesn't need to be left alone. I don't want any government money.
Exactly.
Keep your government hands
Right.
off my homeschool.
Right. I don't want your vouchers. I don't want your tax credits. I don't want any of it.
Right. But again,
Go away.
I think school choice is a good starting point, something that we can work
It
on
is.
and build on it and say, okay, now we
And
need to
right.
we need to cut the leave the homeschoolers alone, just cut them out. They were only,
Right.
make a bill that only deals with people who are actually going to send their kids to a public school. Homeschooling is
Right.
just like, and that's the other thing. We gotta
Right.
get people who homeschool to understand, hey, yes, it seems like they're leaving you out. That's a good thing. When the government leaves you
Yes.
out,
Exactly.
that's a good thing. I wrote something for my speech the other day, but I want to say it now because government has
Okay.
to be a middleman and everything, and it's like giving
Mm-hmm.
the government money to fix something is like giving your alcoholic friend beer money to go on a run, and by the time he gets back, half of it's drank, and you're like, why did you drink?
Yeah.
You gave your alcoholic friend money to go get beer. What did you think was going to happen? Same thing with
Right.
government. If you give government money, it's not going to be spent right. What did you
No,
think
and
was
what-
going to happen?
And what they're going to spend it on is a problem that they created to begin with.
Right. Yeah.
So even that's ludicrous. So I mean, actually, what I really would love to do is just get rid of the DEA. Right?
Well, yeah,
Not
that would
the
be that would
DEA,
be
the Department of Education.
yeah, that would
the
be the
DOE,
best.
Also the DEA, but the DOE,
Or
Department of
DESE.
Education. Yeah.
DESE too.
Yes.
Get rid of DESE.
DESE.
Yeah. Bye bye.
I mean, that's, and privatize the whole darn thing. Let's have a free market system, and the schools that are crap, they end up being shut down. But, that's way, way far off if that were to ever happen. So we've got to work, we've got to be realistic and,
Yeah.
work within the parameters. I do know states that have adopted like the voucher system for people to use for private schools has caused private school tuition to go up. It's the same idea with subsidizing higher institutions.
It's the
So
same.
because now that these families are receiving money from the government to then apply it to a private school or a parochial school, now those tuition rates are going up. That's what I've seen in other states where they're doing this.
Just like forgiving $10,000 in school and student loans. Yeah, surely
it's
that
not
won't.
forgiving.
Yeah, it's surely that won't make the tuition go up another $10,000 because you just forgave 10, or you
Yeah.
you nixed out $10,000. Yeah,
Right.
that tuition
Well,
won't go up, or more people who go, oh, they paid my $10,000 off, or they got
Yeah.
rid of it. I'm going to go back to school again, and then get themselves in the same exact position
Yeah.
that they're in now. Now, I heard a guy on one of the hosts of Good Morning Liberty was saying today he thinks this is the first push of the push of the first domino into basically socializing colleges. I mean, just basically now the government's going to run the whole. He thinks this is the first domino. He goes, now that's his theory, but he goes, I think this is the first domino to fall in the government just taking over higher education.
I can see that.
Yeah, I can see that too. That's I would. Let's see.
And it goes back to Hazlitt, economic, what was it? Economics 101 or Economics in One Lesson.
Yeah,
where he talks about, anything you do that is supposed to help one group of people is going to hurt all these other groups over here. So we can't do that.
I think I heard Tom Woods in a speech say, they're going to rent control or whatever. Well, now you've just shortened the amount or you've lessened the amount of people who are going to build rental properties because you put price controls on it. He's like, if you want more rental properties available, then you should just regulate everything else but that, because you'll drive all
Right.
the money to rental properties. But instead, you're having the reverse effect, because you're going to do rent control, and people are like, well, I'm not going to get my money out of that investment, so those
Right.
people go build something else or sink their money into something else. But yeah,
Yeah.
I forgot. I always forget about that. Hazlitt's economics in one lesson.
Yes.
That's what's great. You literally
Mhm.
can use that for
Yeah.
anything that the government
It's true.
touches.
That whole, broken glass thing. Yeah.
Or like Harry Brown says, the government will break your leg, give you a crutch, and then say,
Right.
"See, if it wasn't for government, you wouldn't be able to
Right.
walk."
Exactly.
I love that quote, by the way. That and Milton Friedman's, if government was in charge of the Sahara Desert, it would be out of sand within like 10
Yes.
years or something like that.
Yeah.
I love all these quotes. I'm just trying
I do
to.
too.
We've got like 2 minutes and 20 seconds till I have to cut for my KEYK audience, and then we can go on. So I'm just trying to.
Okay.
I'm just trying to fill some time, and they like it right at 56 because of commercials and all that. And I try not to mess up their mojo.
Sure.
I don't know what else other dumb things I can say for. I could say a lot of dumb things for 2 minutes, but I'm trying to stay on task, trying to stay on topic.
That's okay.
But after we cut here, I do want to get into the student loan, whatever you want to call that, nixing or yeah,
Right.
because even Nancy Pelosi's like, well, you can't say forgiveness because that means there's been a transgression. There has been a transgression. It's called the government getting in
Right.
to college. The student
Right.
loan thing. That's the thing. That's the sin that you committed.
Right. Well, they changed the definition of inflation, so they can change the definition of forgiveness or cancellation, right?
That's true. And if you're a biologist, you don't know what a woman or a man is. So we are just
Yes.
we are
We're
just
everywhere now.
on. It's like they got tied to the stupid tracks, and the train just kept running over them and running over them and
Yep.
running. Oh, real quick, John Grady
Okay.
wants to know. John Grady, he used to watch me on Facebook when I did this on Facebook all the time. Very quickly, he had 50 seconds, so we got to cut. John Grady wants to ask. He asked this to every candidate that I interview. Would you allow him to own a tank?
Absolutely.
There
If
you
the government
go.
has one, you should get to have one.
There you go. Yeah, he always asks that. I love that question, by the way. I think it's awesome. But he always like, will you
Yeah.
let me buy a tank? And all the liberty-loving candidates are like, I don't care. You want to buy a fighter jet? I don't care if you can afford it.
I don't
Buy
care.
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
like you said, if the government has it, then
I should get to have it.
Yeah. All right. So for my KEYK audience, thanks so much for joining with me again for this edition of the Missouri Liberty Report. And we'll be back next week with Tom Martz from the Lock and Smith Foundation. So y'all have a great weekend, and we'll see you next week. All right, moving on. Let's say John Grady says, if you can't discharge it in bankruptcy like any other loan, why not forgive it? I don't know.
Okay. I'm sorry. Were you asking me that? Or are you talking?
I guess that's what he's asking. If you can't discharge it in bankruptcy like any other loan, why not forgive it? I guess forgiving the whole. My thing is, the government hands out this money. Now they're quote unquote forgiving it, and it's somebody's paying for that, and it ain't the
Well, they
government.
are. And well, it's us. Government is us, and this is
Yeah.
what people need to understand. They're without our money. They wouldn't exist. And so, so these banks, the private loan company, wherever they got their loans from, they might be forgiving it, but it's still going to get paid. It still has to be paid. And then that's where you and I step in.
Okay. Here's another question that no one has asked yet.
Okay.
This is from Warrior. This is a good one. Now this is
okay.
this is deep. Okay. So
Okay.
this is from Warrior Class 3 says, can my town own a nuclear missile?
Can your town?
Yes.
I don't know. That's still the town is still your government. I have to think on that because I'm like, a town is still a branch of the government, even though it's a very small branch of the government. I guess if they put it to a vote and people wanted it, or they lobbied their board of aldermen in favor of it. I mean, again, if the town just does this and the people didn't want it, I would say no. But if the town goes to their board of aldermen meeting and it's on the agenda and they're like, yeah, we want to have this. Okay, then the board of aldermen should listen to the people because they were elected by the people. And I mean, that's the only way I can see it. I feel like as a private citizen, I should get to, because again, that's the Second Amendment. That was the whole point of it. Like whatever weapons the government has, I should get to have the equal kind of weapons because it was created so that we could protect ourselves from the government.
Yeah, because I thought Warrior Class might have been kidding, but he's not kidding. He's actually serious. But she did answer.
Okay.
If the people say, yeah, we want a nuclear missile in our town, and the board of aldermen go, well, they want a nuclear missile, I guess we're getting a nuclear missile. But like Catherine says, if the board of aldermen only do it and the people say, hey, easy, what's with the nuclear missile? Then it's wrong. But if the people say, hey, we'd like a nuclear missile, and then the board of aldermen says, hey, I guess they want a nuke. I don't know why they want a nuke.
Right.
Now,
I mean, that's the way the government's supposed to be set up. It's a representative form of government all the way down to our city council. Don't
get me wrong. If your town has a nuclear missile, nobody's messing with your town. I mean, seriously, what's
going on in his town that we need to be concerned about?
It's just like hey, don't go over there and cause trouble. Why? They got a nuclear missile. Like seriously, like yeah, bro. There's a silo right under City Hall. Like they are not playing. Okay, so
they're not messing around.
Casey Rich. We're just going to keep going with the weaponry here.
Okay.
So if the military has gravity wave propulsion craft stashed away,
gosh, I'm going to have to Google this.
Stashed away at Area 51, then I want one too.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean that's cool. I mean here. I know.
Seriously, that's the whole point. If at any point you say, when it comes to our right to bear arms, if at any point you say, nope, you've just nullified the whole thing.
Well, and that's the thing. I know some people are like, okay, they're going too far, but liberty-minded folk, and if you're talking about actual freedom, people are like, well, now you're talking about propulsion craft and nuclear, but in the auspices of freedom, inside the container of freedom, actual freedom.
Right.
That is not out of bounds.
No.
If your government has them,
yes,
then yes, you should be able to have them. I know that turns people off. They're like, but a nuclear missile, really?
Yeah. Now, if I get elected, do you think I'm going to go and start saying, oh, okay, yeah, I think give everybody. I mean,
no.
But, in theory, I mean that, and I think that's where people get messed up. Especially Republicans. When it comes to the Second Amendment, this is why they will throw Democrats a bone, thinking that it's going to get off of them when it comes to gun control. That's why you'll hear Republicans like, okay, well, yeah, we agree that you shouldn't get to have bump stocks. Okay, but you're still, again, when you do that, nullifying the Second Amendment. So you either understand the point and the logic behind it when the founding fathers made that amendment, or you don't. That's just the way I see it.
Yeah, I mean, that's, people like to bring up technology and all that stuff. Of all the things that they've said in their speeches and their letters and things that they've said, they understood that things were going to advance, and they planned for that. So you can't say, oh,
Exactly.
they didn't plan on having AR-15s. Really? Really? The guys who founded a whole
Right.
country with all this stuff couldn't
Well,
dream that technology was going to advance? Get out of here.
right. And the same with the Fourth Amendment. They want to say, oh, that doesn't, include our, the technology we have today. Well, yeah, it does. They, as far as, being safe from warrantless, searches and seizures of your papers, and the papers. But same thing. Now our papers are all in our computers. It's the same concept,
Yeah.
you know.
It's one of those things. It it's one of the things that I talk about a lot because, it's just like with the whole marijuana legalization. How can you, a lot of people like to say how free we are. Like, oh, we're the freest country in the nation. But yeah, we have the highest prison population per capita of
Right.
any nation in the world. How free are we?
Exactly. And
You're putting
how
people
many
in
of those
jail.
are actually violent criminals?
Right. How many people have you
Mhm.
thrown in jail for a plant? That's not being free.
Right.
That's you being brainwashed in school and watching the TV telling you that you're the freest nation in the world. But you got to take a look around a little bit and figure out that you're not quite as free as you'd like to think you are. And
Right.
I always make this statement when when it gets close to the 4th of July, because people go out and they're talking about different things and they're writing for this or they're whatever, they're causing chaos, and I'm like, if you're one of those people that hate your country so badly, every day you want to talk smack on how awful this country, how racist we all are, and blah blah blah. I do
Mhm.
not want to see you at an Independence Day celebration watching the fireworks, because that is just hypocrisy to the max with me. Like, you better stay home with your earplugs
Right.
in and not even look out the window for the big bangs in the sky. Because
Yeah.
that's just, but we have a lot of people that do that.
Right. And
Joe, it just gets under my skin. It's like, ooh, they
I
either that
understand.
or their war. They always want to go to war with somebody, and it's like, that's not what you want to go out and talk about the
No.
founding of the country. The founders
Right.
warned against these things, and you're out
Yeah.
calling for
George
it.
Washington said, as America, we do not go across the seas looking for foreign monsters or enemy. I can't remember the quote, but
Yep.
that's he talked about. That's not what we do. We do not go in search of people to go to war with.
Okay, now I have a good question here.
Okay.
How would you attack the budget that went from $22 billion in 2015 to now at over
Right.
$38 billion a day? What would you like to see happen with this budget that's just
Okay.
ballooning?
Well, first of all, you know how much money we are getting from the federal government in that budget?
Oh, a lot.
40 something percent. I would start there because, and Robert and I have talked about this, when we talk about armed IRS agents, possibly coming into various states, how much state sovereignty can we have when close to half of our budget, half of the money we get is coming from the federal government? And so I would start there. I would look at that, say, how much why are we getting this? Where is it going? What is it being used for? Because we need to be a sovereign state. And yeah. And we saw, people complained about Common Core. I think I talked about this last time. Well, we ended up with Common Core because we took the federal money for No Child Left Behind. And with that came Common Core. There are always strings attached to government money. So what strings are attached to this federal money that we're taking? I don't know. That's something I would look into. But that would be a place to start. We're also sitting on a surplus. I can't remember the dollar amount. Maybe you know.
It's a couple
So
a couple $billion.
It's huge.
Yeah.
Like, why are we sitting on this surplus and increasing the budget? And now okay, John, this is where my mind starts to just unravel. Okay, because it's like, okay, so we get this gas tax, right? They passed the gas tax, which my opponent was the chair of that committee and passed it out of his committee. Voted yes on it. Let me just put that out there.
Yeah.
Voted, but when it hit the House floor, he voted no. So he will tell you he voted no, but he was the chair of that committee, and he voted yes on passing it out of committee. He could have killed it right then and there. Anyway, so We get this gas tax dumped on us. Okay, and now, we have this surplus. Woo, let's lower the tax, the tax rate on everybody. While we have this, we, like you said, doubled the size of the budget since 2015. I'm just like, I can't quite wrap my mind around all of this. Like, why, just, why, I don't know. I'm speechless. I'm just speechless at the stupidity of all of it, to have this bloated budget sitting on a surplus, and now we're going to lower the tax rate while the gas tax continues to increase. I'm like, let's repeal the gas tax. I know I'm going off topic with the budget.
No, go ahead.
But it's all intertwined is the problem. And anyway.
Listen, that gas tax, like I told my friend, I think I chimed in on his show last Sunday. I'm going to plug it real quick here.
Okay.
Oh, my God. Off the cuff at MOLibertyRadio.us. You all need to check it out Sunday night, 7 o'clock to 9 o'clock. But anyway, I jumped in on Team Talk last week, and I said, Dave Schatz, that was his baby. Then he runs for Senate. And I think the gas tax was his undoing, and nothing could make me happier. He ruined his own political career because he had to have held up things in the House, did all these things, held everything up. And it's like, good. Yep. I'm glad that maybe, now did he learn his lesson? Probably not. He's probably blaming someone else. But it's like, you know what? You were dumb enough to hold things up, like SEPA and a bunch of other stuff, until you got your gas tax, and you got it, and it burns you right in the butt cheeks, and nothing makes me smile more than the fact that now he is unemployed as a state representative, or was he a senator or state rep?
That I don't remember.
I can't remember. I just know that I wanted to high-five him in the face with a brick. It's like, why, dude, 3 times the people in Missouri voted this down. And but here's the other great part. But they put in that refund thing, so that was supposed to just everybody would just be happy because you could just get a like, really, bro? Like, they know most people aren't going to do that. Now, I've talked to several that do, and hey, kudos to them. But like I said, you go to the gas station, you swipe your card, you buy your gas, and then what happens 9 times out of 10? The pump's out of receipt paper.
Right.
And a lot of people aren't going to inconvenience themselves and walk in. Can I get a receipt for pump 6? And then walk, They're just going to be like, screw it. Maybe next time. They know these things, and that's how they, I guess that's how they, he was a senator. Thank you, Patrick. It's like, this is how they bribe you by saying, well, you could get a refund.
Yeah.
I have talked to people and said it's not the most fun thing to do, to try to fill out the form and keep all your receipts.
Stick it to them and make them do the paperwork.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I guess they probably had to employ more people to go through all the paperwork.
There's that, right. But yeah, I hope that I answered his question about the budget. That is where I would start.
Yeah. Figuring out why all the federal funds are coming in and where they're going. Yeah, that's a concern to a lot of people.
Part of our budget.
Yeah, that's a concern to a lot of folks, is why, especially in the Missouri Freedom Initiative folks, they're really like, what is with all the federal funding? What's with all, we should really just call it funny money, because, it's funny how we get all this money, and it's really funny how we can't figure out where we're spending it at. So we should just call it funny money and be done with it. Trying to think if there's any other thing else that anybody else. Let's everybody in the live group here. Anybody else got a question for Catherine while we're sitting here just flapping our gums? I'm really glad that you don't
keep talking.
I'm really glad that you agree, volunteered yourself. I appreciate that.
Oh yeah, you're welcome.
Because if I would have just if I had just come on with literally nothing written down besides I'm going to have a guest and then no guest, and I'm like, no one's going to watch this because this is going to be a train wreck. I'm glad you. Yeah, I'm glad you could. So
Well, thank you. Yeah, I'm glad to help you out. But you're also helping me out because this gives me more experience. Asking questions, finding out what are people concerned about, what questions do they have. So it's a win-win.
it just like there's certain people that ran for office. Okay, here we go. Patrick's got a question. So he wants to know why you're running. What are some of the main reasons that you're running for office?
Um, well, first of all, I'm running because I was asked.
Okay.
It wasn't on my agenda to run. But
It is
like I
now.
said, I've had it is, and I've had experience at the local level. I have run for local offices before, um, but and I've told you this as well. If I do nothing the entire 4 years except stop bad bills from getting through, I will have done my job.
Is there?
If I can do all I can to protect liberty by stopping anti-liberty bills from getting through, I'll have done my job. I don't feel like it's my job to go there and have, I'm going to pass this, I'm going to try to get this done and that done. I'm going to have ideas, but at the end of the day, I feel like that's really what it boils down to. Defending liberty.
Yeah,
So
a guy that I had on my old podcast, Jesse Root, who moved here to Missouri, actually. Well, he was one of the speakers at Robert's events. He was the first speaker at Robert's event.
right.
He has a group called the Constitutional Grassroots Movement. Now he's trying to get all that, the website and everything, back up and going. And maybe I need to get you in contact with him at some point,
Yeah.
because he has this great test on the Constitution, and you have to pass it for him to endorse you. But man,
Right.
does he find the really constitutional candidates? But there was a candidate that he was backing out of either Georgia or Alabama. I think I might be Florida. I don't know. He was running for U.S. Congress. Now, the knock on him was, this is what I'm relating to what you just spoke to.
Right.
He didn't write any bills while he was in there. And he's like, yeah, but I fought against all the crap coming through, and people lost all interest in him because he didn't write a single bill while he was in office. That was the knock on him. And he's like, he's like, you don't want people going in just writing bills willy-nilly. You want them to keep the bad crap away too. And
right.
yeah, it just ruined him because well, this guy did nothing. And he's like, you can't. I was there every day at work, unlike some of my colleagues, and I fought against bad legislation. I think I did something good. Okay. John Grady says sales. Okay, I guess sales tax is going up here this month. Can we strip this from municipalities and just have a flat sales tax?
Okay, I'm just going to have to speak from when it comes to municipalities, I'm not a big fan of higher government coming down on like the municipalities and such. Just like the people in that municipality need to talk to their elected officials and handle it at their local level. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
I assume that's what he's talking about. Is something happening?
Yeah, I think it is going up in Gasconade County for the sheriff's department or something.
Okay.
I know they added something to help fund the sheriff's department because they were lacking in funds. So Casey Rich, go ahead. I'm sorry. I'll let you finish.
I was going to say, is that something that they're doing in their county or their municipality, or is that something that the state is doing?
That was in our county. They voted it.
Oh,
They voted for it.
Yeah, and that's something I encourage people to do because that is where I started, was at the local level, attending. I mean, I would walk into my Board of Aldermen meetings and you could just see the look on their face, like, oh, crap, she's here. And that's how you want it to be. You need to get involved in your local government. Go to your school board meetings, your board of alderman meetings, your county council meetings, and start being involved. Find out what they're up to and what they're doing, and gather a group of people to go with you. They don't like it. Out here in Lincoln County, our county commissioners, when they meet? They meet Mondays and Tuesdays every week from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Now tell me who can attend those meetings.
Yeah, not many people.
Not anybody working. Exactly. And that's how they want it. So if you have an opportunity to go, then go and be active in your local community, because that's where I started. And, I still try to stay engaged in what's going on in Lincoln County.
Okay, so Casey Rich is asking if you're aware of what Dean Plocker did in the last legislative session.
What? Which one? What?
Oh, so you know about some of the things he did then?
Yeah, we talked about that last time.
Okay, I apologize.
There's some of the things he blocked. I'm like, which one are we talking about?
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, she knows. She knows.
Yeah.
The old Plocker the blocker.
Plocker the blocker. Yeah.
Plocker the blocker. So let me ask you this. I mean, I know you'd be on the Senate side. If you win your election, you'd be on the Senate side.
Yes.
I guess I don't know how you would handle this, but we definitely need the rules changed on the House floor. Is there anything you could do from the Senate side, like talk to the people on the House side, try to form a coalition where you get the House floor rules changed to say, okay, not just two people don't get to pick what bills come off the calendar onto the floor for debate. I mean, that's an honest question. I don't know.
Yeah, and I'm going to be honest and say I don't know either.
Okay.
That's a good question and something I would have to look into. But yeah, that's a good question.
Because that's got to happen. I mean, this guy's just
right.
He's like herpes. You can't get rid of him.
Can answer.
Yeah,
right.
He's just like herpes. You can't seem to get rid of the guy, and it's like and then he's like a gremlin. He just comes out at the worst time, and you're like, really, you're causing problems again, bro? Come on, can't you go away for a little while? Can't you hit your head and like change your attitude or something? Son of a gun!
Get your head stuck in a grate.
There you go. Go out there and check on your cattle and get your head stuck in the fence, and nobody finds you for a little while. And they're just whipping bills through the House, good bills, recreational legalization, getting rid of the personal property tax, and then he comes back and he's like, what did you guys do? What did you guys do? Like freedom stuff while you were gone. We did freedom stuff while you were gone, and it felt amazing.
That's right.
So go check on your cattle again and get your head stuck a couple more times.
Right.
Just until the end of the legislative session, then you can come back, and we'll talk about all the awesome stuff we did while you were gone.
Exactly.
Woohoo!
I'd have to look into that. Yeah, I don't know what the Senate side can do about that.
Speaking of the Senate, now I guess you saw that Bill Eigel released a statement saying that the conservative caucus was kind of like ending.
Yeah.
That they were trying to work to get. What are your thoughts on this? I mean, because listen, like Mike Moon is always on the right side of things. Bill Eigel, 90% of the time, he's on the right side of things, and a couple others. And it's like, okay, what's the plan here? Because let's face it, there's been a lot of infighting in the Senate. That there are a lot of senators who hate the conservative caucus and say they're they come out with all this stuff, and it's like, guys, you're bashing guys who are observing the Constitution and trying to lower taxes, and you're calling them idiots? Like, what is going? What are your thoughts on this thing?
Yeah, my thoughts. Well, I was going to have a meeting with Bill Eigel last week, and I had to postpone it, so we haven't rescheduled it yet. So I'm hoping to get more information from him about it. But my thought on it is because they said they are extending an olive branch to, I guess, the leadership caucus. So I think what they're doing is putting the ball in their court. to see what happens. And I think a lot of that may have come as a result of our recent elections, with Schroyer being elected to Senate, or no, was he Senate or state rep? I can't remember. He was against Weeman. So, no, Schroyer's coming into Senate. Yep. So that's out in St. Charles County. But some other, I think, there's some new blood coming in to the state Senate. And so I honestly think that's what some of that's about. But whether or not he says they're disbanding it, but then yet at the same time I saw a post saying that they're extending an olive branch. So yeah. I'm just kind of waiting to see how this plays out on the other side. Yeah, what they do with that.
It's going to be interesting. I think these guys have a plan, and I kind of think maybe they're going to be like, okay, now we stopped with our stuff, and you guys still haven't gotten anything done. So who's to blame here? I think they're going to put the onus on the guys who hate the conservative caucus for whatever reason, because they try to do good stuff.
Right.
And God forbid we do good things in government. Such a bummer. But it was interesting when I saw it. I thought, wait. And then Patrick and I discussed it a little bit and stuff, and I was like, oh, okay, maybe this is, Senator Eigel's smart. Senator Moon, they're smart people.
And
I'm like,
There's strategy behind it. Yeah. What it is, I don't know.
I hope
that's what I'm hoping to find out.
I hope it's awesome, whatever it is. Well,
yeah.
I'm going to wind this up, Catherine. So
okay.
any parting words for us? I mean, again, August 28th from 2 to 4 at the Troy Fairgrounds. Catherine Dreher, go ahead and tell us one more time about your event and some of your speakers.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Absolutely. It's called For Liberty. August 28th, 2 to 4 p.m. at Fairgrounds Hall in Troy. John Williams of the Missouri Liberty Report will be speaking. We'll also have Ethan Thampey, who will be speaking on Amendment 3. Tom Martz of Locke and Smith Foundation, and former State Representative Paul Kurtman will be speaking as well. So it is a free event. Hopefully those who attend will like to make a donation. But really, I want to get people fired up about liberty again. That's how it felt when I first got involved with Ron Paul's campaign. So many people were on fire. It was the whole liberty movement. And what I'm seeing with the Mises Caucus is it's the people, they're now adults, but they were in college when Ron Paul in 2012 was visiting their college. So I am excited to see the younger generation now trying to carry that torch that Ron Paul started. So I'm like, okay. And there was an interview done with my opponent, Travis Fitzwater. This was St. Louis Public Radio, and the interviewer said, so you are, what were the words he used? Essentially the senator-elect barring a libertarian revolution. So to me, I'm like, bring it. Let's bring the libertarian revolution. Time to bring it back and show up in force on November 8th.
Absolutely. So any other parting words for us, Catherine?
No, that's it. Just, thanks for having me on your show last minute. I always enjoy talking to you, and thank you for all the questions. It keeps me on my toes, helps me know what everybody's thinking about, what your concerns are, and the things that I don't know, I always look into. So thank you.
Well, Catherine, you have a great weekend. I will see you Sunday afternoon. Can't wait. It's going to be a great time, I'm sure. And but again, have a great weekend. Best of luck to you.
Okay.
And anytime you want to come back on and we can talk Missouri politics, you give me a few days notice. If I don't have a guest penciled in,
okay.
you come on and we'll do it again.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you, John.
Yep. Take care, Catherine.
All right. You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, folks, that's Catherine Dreher filling in for Jody Grace. I will try to get Jody rescheduled once again here in the coming weeks, I guess you'd say. So one thing I want to mention, Patrick and I are going to start working on something where he comes on once a month with me and we just talk about all things Missouri politics and the like. So that's coming up in the future. Again, next week is Tom Martz with the Locke and Smith Foundation. I'm looking for some other guests. If anybody else knows some freedom-oriented groups or people that would like to come on, please shoot me a message, and I will be happy to interview them. But that's what's coming up. Yeah, Voodoo Queen Catherine's. I really like talking to Catherine. She is just a hoot. So thanks again to everybody who joins in on the live stream, listens, downloads, however you get this podcast. Thanks so much for joining me. And I wanna end the show with something. I know some of my listeners out there know who Soundgarden is, and they know the song Black Hole Sun, but I bet you've never heard this take on it. This is from a group I happened upon on YouTube, and they covered a song, I think it's Dreams by Fleetwood Mac. This is just a couple, a husband and wife, both great singers, but it's just acoustic guitar and them singing. But this is their cover of Black Hole Sun. Now, I love the song Black Hole Sun from Soundgarden. Any of you who know know what that song is, outstanding song. This take on it is absolutely outstanding. I'm going to make sure no ads pop up because I'm playing it through YouTube video. So I'm going to leave you with this. Be sure, everybody, to check out MOLibertyRadio.us, especially on Sunday nights from 7 to 9 with Sam and Trish Britton, Off the Cuff Radio. Also, make sure you look up Missouri Freedom Initiative on Saturday night, starting at 7:30 for Patrick's live stream and the rest of the gang from the Missouri Freedom Initiative. Saturday nights at 7:30, Sunday nights at 7 to 9 p.m. MOLibertyRadio.us with Sam and Trish Britton, Off the Cuff Radio. All right, so let's play this. I think you guys, again, if there's an ad pops up here real quick, I will mute it.
In my eyes, indisposed, in disguises no one knows, hides the face, lies the snake, and the sun in my disgrace.
Boiling heat, summer stench, neath the black the sky looks dead. Call my name through the cream, and I'll hear you scream again. Black hole sun, won't you come and wash away the rain? Black hole sun, won't you come, won't you come, won't you come?
Stuttering, cold and dim, steal the warm retire friend. Times are gone for honest men, and sometimes far too long for snakes.
In my shoes, walk and sleep. In my youth, I pray to keep heaven send hell away. No one sings like you anymore. Black hole sun, won't you come and wash away the rain? Black hole sun, won't you come, won't you come? Black hole sun, won't you come and wash away the rain? Black hole sun, won't you come, won't you come? drown my fear till you all just disappear. Black hole sun, won't you come and wash away the rain? Black hole sun, won't you come, won't you come? Black hole sun, won't you come and wash away the rain? Black hole sun, won't you come, won't you come? Won't you come? Won't you come? Won't you
Yeah, that that's some good stuff. That's some good stuff. Now I think KC made a comment about a song that I started out with. The intro to the song that I started out with. Let me cut this recording real quick, and I'll keep talking to you. Good night, everybody. I just kept talking and forgot to hit the stop button. The song I play at the very beginning of the show as my intro, it's from Trivium, and it's called Like a Sword Over Damocles. I love this song. I'll go ahead and play it real quick because we're live streaming. Who cares? And I'm not monetizing this, but this is a great song. Now, this is metal, okay? So if you guys aren't metal fans, I'm sorry. But I love this song.
Yes, it all, you are far.
Do love me some do love me some Trivium. They're coming to St. Louis November 2nd. My daughter and I are going to go see that. That's going to be amazing. Or Casey Rich, that was Trivium. They've got, I think, 10 albums out now. If depending on your style of music that you like, if I was going to suggest an album to you, oh boy, now I can't remember the name of the album. And now I'm on awful Shogun. If I was going to get an album from Trivium, I would get Shogun. Shogun is so. A lot of Trivium fans say that's their peak. Now they continually make great music. Shogun is amazing. I mean, that is just a beast of an album. They talk about all kinds of different things: Greek mythology, Japanese. Matt Heapy is half Japanese, so he brings in he does a lot of different things on Japanese culture and Japanese stories. But it's got all kinds of stuff. I mean, it's a mind-blowing album. There's what is there, 14 songs on there? There's 13. The special edition has a cover of the song Iron Maiden from Iron Maiden, which they don't do bad. But Shogun is it's like a 10 or 11 minute song. It's one of those songs that I never get tired of listening to. I'll just play the intro. I'm not going to play the whole song because it's, like I said, it's like 11 minutes long, I think. I'm gonna see if I can get. Oh yeah, here it is. Like this really quiet part. Let me get to that. It's amazing.
Is now quickening softly, it's painstaking. Look with them to calm the storm raging inside the form. There's no turning back.
Gonna kick up nice and heavy here in just a second. Yeah, that's just that. Like I said, it's like 11 minutes and like 29 seconds long. It's like a ballad for going into battle or something. I don't know, but the whole album is just in like song after song is so fantastic. Like I think this is their top, even though I love pretty much every album they put out. Shogun to me is like it's just as far as metal albums go. I think it is one of the best metal albums that I've owned, and it's one of those I can just listen to over and over and over. It's like Rust in Peace from Megadeth. Just a masterpiece of metal. Master of Puppets from Metallica is another one. You can go on and on and on and on. Anyway, guys, it's going to do it for this week. And here in the next couple weeks, we're going to have to just take some time after when I'm going to go hang out with some friends tomorrow. I got to get rested up. I got some time in an evening to just sit and spend and just play some tunes at the end of the live stream and everything's done. We're going to do that one night. Just, hey, play this one, play 3 or 4 songs. Just have a jam out session at the end of the show. But thanks, you guys, for hanging out, jamming out with me. I appreciate that I have some metalheads in the crowd, because us metalheads, we got to stick together. We're kind of few and far between. But anyway, have a great weekend, everybody. Stay safe. And I will not be joining in on the live stream tomorrow night, because I do have plans for tomorrow afternoon into tomorrow evening, unless I luck out and get home. Maybe I'll get home before that time or in the midst of it, and then I'll jump on. But right now, I don't have plans to jump in on Patrick's live stream. But I will definitely try to make it for next Saturdays. That's because I've missed. That'll be 2 in a row I've missed. I don't like missing that many. So anyway, thanks, guys. Thanks for the questions. Thanks for the comments. As usual, you all great.